Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is episode 124 of the Audible Farm podcast, and this week is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is roasted right here in Iowa, and they will roast coffee specifically for your order and then ship it to you. So you don't even have to leave the house, and you can get great coffee, and all you got to do is grind it up and brew it, and whammo. The coffee is amazing. It's my favorite coffee. I'm not just saying that. I actually drink the coffee every single day. There's some right next to me right now. So get yourself some Couchtown Coffee. Go to www.couchtowncoffee.com. Find a coffee you like, make an order, and when you make an order, let them know Audible Farm sent you. Use the code word Audible Farm when you make your order, and they will give you 20% off. Why? Because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. Thanks, Couchtown. This episode, I am sitting down with Ryan Craig of All Guts, No Glory. They're a band that I guess you could call them a rock band. Maybe you could call them a grunge or an alt-rock band. Somewhere in there, if you spin all that in a can, and then out comes All Guts, No Glory. They're from the Ottumwa area. I've heard their music before. I haven't seen them live, but I have listened to their stuff before. It's really good. It's if you guys are into any of that rock and roll that came out from like the 90s into the early 2000s, anything from the grunge to that new harder rock that came out, anything in that window, if that's your kind of music, you'll like these guys. So check it out. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I didn't really know Ryan too much before we sat down and did the podcast, but I know him now. He's a fun guy. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. I had a great time sitting down talking with him. So check it out. This is Ryan Craig with All Guts, No Glory.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
All right. Today I'm sitting down with Ryan Craig. Ryan, I've actually found your band online. I've known about All Guts, No Glory for a while now, and I know you guys exist, and I don't remember how. I think you sent me a message, or maybe the band sent me a message, but it was I was just like, oh yeah, I gotta get in touch with these guys. So here we are, we're chatting. You guys are a rock band from Ottumwa, but you know, rock is such a wide genre choice.
It's a subjective term, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm a punk band. It's like, well, that could be anything, you know, or even country these days. You could be anything if you're country. So Ryan, you are in a rock band. I guess we could say it leans somewhere towards like grunge or maybe like that alt rock of the 90s and things like that. We were talked a tiny bit before the podcast. You said you'd been in other bands. Were the other bands you were in something along these lines too, as far as like the rock and alt rock?
Well, the most well-known band I was in before this was called Ashes Armada, and it was slightly heavier, I think, more modern rock kind of thing.
Yeah.
We played a lot of shows, and we're fairly successful. And then I left that and started a metal band called Face the Ghost.
Okay.
We called that hardcore rock and roll. It was like melodic, like hard rock riffs, and Lucas's vocal style was like Keith Buckley from Every Time I Die was his main influence. So.
Oh, cool. I've actually heard of Ashes Armada, which is pretty wild. I've only been like, I would say,
really?
I've only had my finger on the pulse of the music scene for like maybe 5 years tops now. I've kind of dipped in and out of it here and there the last 10, 15 years, but I've definitely heard of them. So whatever you guys were doing then, it made it all the way up here, and I'm in northern Iowa, so I've at least heard of you guys. So
we actually, on a whim, we decided to enter a battle of the bands to play Rockfest in Kansas City about 5 years ago, and we got on and got to play the biggest single day festival in the nation. And that was my big moment with Ashes Armada.
That's cool. Those big, like,
it was epic.
Those big one-day festivals can be tons of fun. I know it's kind of hard to like pluck fans away from the festival to come interact with you and stuff like that, like after the set.
Mud and and people everywhere, booze, and
Oh God.
you can imagine it was happening.
Oh yeah, those outdoor festivals too. I don't think it'd be an outdoor festival
Nuts, man.
without mud. You know, the mud at the outdoor
Right?
festival. Yeah. I don't know why, but they seem to go hand in hand, especially the last 10 plus years. It just, I don't know if it's always been a thing,
Yeah.
but God, those outdoor shows are tons of fun. How did you guys get hooked up with that show down in Kansas City? Was it something where you heard a blurb online and threw your name in the hat? Or?
I think there was a battle of bands to be on the third stage, and we entered it, and our fans voted for us, and lo and behold, we were going to Kansas City.
That's cool. Those Battle of the Bands things are tough too, because like so much of it comes down to like who brought the most fans, and I guess there's some merit involved in that, because like I guess if you're not a good band, you're not bringing fans anyways. So
Exactly.
you know, so I love hearing people's talk about like, oh, Battle of the Bands. Some people love them, some people hate them, but it's always that weird thing where it's like, well, I guess you just go do it if you want to go do it, but also
I like to say that I've never won a Battle of the Bands, but I've never lost a party.
Yeah, that's a beautiful saying for all the musicians out there that have been soured off by the Battle of the Bands. You've never lost a party,
I've
man.
never won a Battle of the Bands, but I've never lost a party.
I love that. Oh, every episode we seem to have like some good advice, and that's going to be one. Bookmark it, everybody. Put that in your books and take that with you on your days.
Nice.
Dude, I like that one a lot, because I mean, I do talk to a lot of people about their feelings, because there's no right or wrong way to go about traversing the music scene, and that's been a hot button issue, is the Battle of the Bands. I mean, there's none of them going on now because of COVID, but I mean, that always seemed to be a hot button issue.
It always bugs me when people take themselves too seriously.
Ooh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We're local bands. We're fooling ourselves into thinking we are entertaining people getting up on stage.
To an extent,
And
yeah.
it's kind of nuts to do this, you know?
Dude, yeah, I mean, 100%. There is something to be said for taking yourself too seriously.
Exactly.
On the same end of that spectrum, there should be something to be said about not taking yourself seriously enough, too, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a happy medium.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been in bands and I've kind of seen it from a lot of different angles, and I've seen it from both angles, taking yourself both too seriously and not seriously at all. And I don't know which one's more detrimental. Would you have an opinion?
I just try to have fun, man. If I'm not having fun, why do it?
Yeah, that is also another common occurrence on this podcast. There's not a whole lot of people that are out there playing music for fame, glory, and money. You know, on the local scene, we're all doing it for fun.
I don't want to be famous. I don't want paparazzi up my ass all the time. Kidding me? Hell no.
Oh man, yeah, and I mean,
I'm a hermit by nature. I'm a homebody.
So you guys started this band out of Ottumwa. How did you form the band All Guts No Glory? Then I got to ask that, because
Lucas and I, we had just broken up our previous band, Face the Ghost, where he was the vocalist, and there was a conversation we had, and I asked him, "What next? What are we doing next?" And he goes, "Well, I'm probably going to go to school or something." And I'm like, no. What kind of band are we doing next? You're not getting out of this easily. He's like, "Fine, I'll do another band with you, but I'm not singing. I'm playing an instrument this time. I'm not going to be the front man." And then we got Jeremy Bendy.
Nice.
Who is in Good Devils.
That's cool.
And he decided he wanted to learn to play the drums.
Mm-hmm.
So he was our drummer when we started.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how our bass player joined. Lucas didn't know what instrument he wanted to start playing, and we gathered for our first meeting. He's like, "I guess I'll play bass." And Bendy's like, "No, Alan," who was Bendy and Alan were roommates at this time, and we practiced in Alan's basement. And he's like, "Alan, get in here, pick up your bass." And that's how Alan got into the band. He learned 2 songs the first night, and it was like, well, he's our guy. And Lucas was like, fine, I guess I'll play guitar. And then a couple weeks later, I had the idea that I've known Jeff Alexander, our singer, for almost a decade now. He was in a band called 20 Foot Forehead. We played, our paths had crossed many times. I always considered him a really good friend, and I always loved what he does vocally, and his stage banter is just priceless. He's one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever met. So there's just a natural charisma to this guy. And I mentioned, hey man, why don't we get this guy I know to come in and try out for lead vocals? And they were kind of hesitant at first, but Jeff came in and we wrote 2 songs in the first night, and it's like, well, I guess we're a 5-piece now. So
nice. It's kind of funny how all that works out. Sometimes you get a little bit of a plan in your head, and then it changes a little bit, and then before you know it, it's like, this could work, even though it's not what I originally had in mind.
Yeah, and it worked right off the bat. And then early in 2020, Bendy left to go focus on Good Devils. Between working full time and doing 2 full-time bands, he was just burnt. And so he left to go focus on Good Devils, and we put out the standard. We were looking for a drummer, and we tried out a couple guys, and then Steve Jones came and tried out and just instantly nailed all the songs, fit in personality-wise, and so now, and Steve's been around the scene for many years, so that's how Steve got in our band.
I always feel like finding a drummer. Is one of the hardest parts too.
Yeah, we got really lucky. With Steve, and we're actually getting ready to go in the studio and track an EP.
Oh, right, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
So
we just had practice last night, and it sounded really good. So
I mean, we had talked about it before the podcast. I'll mention it again in case I didn't mention it on the intro part of this. But it's you guys do have an album out. It's called Pyrokinesis for Beginners.
Yes.
And you also have singles out, available anywhere you listen to music online. So if anybody's looking for All Guts, No Glory, check it out online. But you said new EP coming out.
Yep, and we're going to record that at the same place we recorded Pyrokinesis for Beginners. We recorded with John Rowell at Black Lab Studios.
Cool.
That was an awesome experience. That's the best experience I've ever had recording. So
that's good to say. I've actually talked to John. I've met him a few times, like in passing in the music scene. I've had him on the podcast once.
He's just a good dude.
Bingo. Yeah, just a good dude all around. It's just
really good dude.
Yeah, and I mean those people that play music and also help out other people in the music scene by like recording and doing stuff like that. I mean, come on, they're some of the best people out there.
Exactly. And John actually is going to focus on recording now. He's no longer performing, doing shows. So
yeah, because he spent a lot of time with Bendy in the Good Devils for a while.
Yeah, Good Devils.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean I remember Jonathan from when he played with TV Cop, a couple years back, and I mean that's kind of how I met him, was through the TV Cop guys. But it's really cool when there's local people around you, because Jonathan Rowell with the Black Lab Studios is near you, right, in Omaha or in Ottumwa?
In Ottumwa, yeah.
So
I first met John when he was in a band called Unceremonious, and we bonded over our love of CKY. So
cool.
I did my Rab himself impersonation, and he topped mine. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna be friends. Hello, Kiki, come here. All that old stuff.
Oh man, CKY, that's a somewhat of a blast from the past. You guys like I feel like there's a skater. I mean, like CKY was always kind of one of those bands that was popular with the skater guys. I think Bam Margera was one of the people that kind of pushed them up into popularity a little bit more.
Well, their drummer is Bam's brother.
Oh, I didn't know that. So there you go.
Yeah.
Is there like a big skating community down there? Because I feel like a lot of you guys down there, for some reason, I feel like a lot of you guys are involved in that community somewhat.
I'm not a skater.
Me either.
But I know people who are, and there's a small skate park in Ottumwa, I guess.
Cool.
Down by the river.
Nice. I feel like Ottumwa gets undersold a lot. There's I've been down there a couple times to see shows, and it's not like the town is packed full of tons of stuff to do, but you have a decently big town with stuff to do though.
Yeah, and it's just so hungry for like music and creativity. There's nothing else to do around here, so there are a lot of good bands. Like, I'm wearing my Hollow Tree shirt right now. I love them.
Oh my god!
And
yeah, go online and look up Iowa music. You'll find, I would say, like 1 out of 3 bands in Iowa that you see posting stuff online seems to be from the Ottumwa area. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something in the water, or like you said, there's not much else to do, or if you guys all just kind of buddy up and have a good community down there. I don't know what it is down there, but
there's definitely a good community between the bands, man. I'm friends with most of the people I'm friends with are in bands.
That's awesome.
So,
and it's not like that in every town, unfortunately.
No, and I don't even live in Ottumwa. I live in a little town 20 miles west called Albia. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I mean that's another thing too. I live in a small town outside of Fort Dodge, which is kind of where I hang my hat, is in the Fort Dodge area, which is in northern Iowa. But like, I spent a lot of musical time down in Des Moines too, so I'm not even from anywhere near where I.
Friends in Des Moines.
Yeah,
I saw you talk to Marco and Nate from Blacked Out World. I love those guys.
Dude, those guys are so funny.
Those guys are my dudes, man.
I didn't realize what I was getting myself into until about halfway in the interview. They like to laugh. That was a fun one.
Oh yeah.
So you got this new EP coming out. I got to ask you, was there a thought process behind putting out an EP? How many songs are going to be on it?
6. The thought process is nobody's really paying attention to albums these days. The attention span is so short nowadays, and it's just tough to get people to listen to an entire album. So we figured an EP would be smarter at this point. And we had the 6 songs already worked up, and we've actually got more than 6 that are kind of in the pipeline, but these 6 are the best ones we've got right now, and we're gonna go ahead and put them out. We feel like it's an evolution from Pyrokinesis for beginners too.
That's cool, man. I agree 100%. It's like the album concept is kind of going away. Not that it should or it should be dead forever or anything like that, but you're 100%.
That's just the way things are.
Yeah, you're right. How would you like to have a band that only has an album come out every 18 months, or you could put out an EP, almost every 8 or 9 months, almost twice a year you could put out an EP if you really wanted to. I mean, it's kind of like, let's trickle this stuff out there for the people instead of just making them wait and then sending it all out at once. That doesn't work so much anymore in our society.
Yeah, which kind of sucks because I like listening to albums, but I like listening to EPs too.
I do too. And I think like the only bad part about it is trying to stuff an EP on a vinyl is kind of difficult because you either end up with like a bunch of blank stuff on one side or the other, depending on how much music's on there. Plus it's like, well, if there's only 6 or 7 songs on a vinyl, maybe people won't buy it. I mean, the band I'm in released a vinyl, and believe it or not, people are actually buying that like 3-to-1 over CDs.
You're in Three Finger Betty, right?
You got it, dude. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, we just released.
You guys' stuff out.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it, man. All the way across the state, getting that love. I love it. And that's what really this all about is supporting each other. And speaking of which, it's crazy how many people are willing to support bands, even in like downtime like this, where I haven't played a show with Three Finger Betty in 4 months, maybe 5 months. I don't know. It's been a while, but we still have like an online shop, and people are buying. Like I said, they're buying the vinyl 3-to-1 over a CD. It's kind of wild.
Wow.
And I guess vinyl's
making a big comeback.
It is. I've had people that don't even. What's that?
It's cool to see that.
Yes. I mean, I don't know how old you are. I'm sure we're not terribly far off in age, but I'm sure you
39.
had 39. So, I'm only 33, so we're close enough. You didn't really grow up too much with vinyl then. I mean, they were around when you were young, but I'm sure tapes were kind of king or so.
Tapes and CDs were the thing.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I've got a bunch of vinyl over here, and I've recently started collecting local vinyl because I think it's cool to have Iowa bands putting out vinyl, even though it's kind of a pain in the butt to get a vinyl out there, but it's still really cool. Have you guys ever tried to sell physical media like that?
No, we haven't, but we just decided last night that we're going to do physical copies of this upcoming EP.
Nice. That's cool, man. You gonna do the CD route? Because honestly, CDs. It used to be kind of tough to get CDs, but now I actually just went online and ordered some for Three Finger Betty. I realized it's not too hard to get CDs anymore.
No, it's not.
No, there's a lot of companies out there willing to work very cost effectively to get CDs into the hands of artists. So I guess, if you want to chat afterwards, we can chat afterwards. Otherwise, I can just let the cat out of the bag. CD Baby will actually make CDs for you for a pretty decent price, and the turnaround's pretty fast. So if anybody's looking for advice, that's the one I'll say.
Yeah, I've actually ordered music off of CD Baby before.
Yeah,
my favorite unsigned bands have CDs there.
Yeah, it used to be huge. I think they recently closed their storefronts on CD Baby, unfortunately. So you can't go there and buy CDs. You might still be able to buy digital music, but it used to be a really cool place for people to distribute music from, though, too.
Yeah.
Now I think a lot of people are going to DistroKid, but that's,
Yep, that's what we do.
That's what we did, too. And it's, honestly, DistroKid is so easy. It's, like, idiot-proof.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I love it.
We let Jeff handle that stuff. He's a good businessman. So.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I always find that too in bands. It's usually just like you're doing the digital stuff and you're doing the sound stuff when we need to do sound, and like there's always some of those people that kind of you pick out in the bands that are those types of people. And I don't know. I feel
kind
like
of our social media guy. So.
You've done a good job, actually. I was looking at your page. You got 800 plus likes on your Facebook page. That's pretty stellar, dude.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's honestly,
not bad at all.
It's not bad at all. I know a lot of bands that have been around for multiple years that don't even have 500, and some of it comes down to just pushing it a little bit. I feel like a little bit of a shill pushing social media, but when you're just like, hey, like my band, it's you feel like kind of an idiot.
It's been tough this last year just because we're not playing shows. It's like, hey, like my band. Just for no reason, like my band. Yeah, Here you go. Yeah, like it.
We put out an album. You go listen to it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
We put out an album that we can't go support, but like our band on the internet anyway.
Yeah. And it's tough though, but it's like we said earlier, it's cool when you have that support, because even if you only have a few dozen people listening to your music online, it's just like, man, there's 30, 40 people that chose to listen to my music online this week. That's wild.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
a good feeling.
It really is. And I'm not one to be like too sentimental and stuff, but I've got a couple CDs here I'm getting ready to ship out for Three Finger Betty, and it's just like, man, I can't believe there's this many people supporting local music, and it's so neat, such a neat feeling, even if you just ship out a CD a week. What's that?
It's a really cool community.
Yeah, and I thought
not just the bands, but the fans that follow everything. They're usually at most of the shows. It's like, so you get to be friends with these people, and
yeah, and I mean, sometimes it's even cool. Like you said, people in other bands will do that for you too. Will you show up and be like, oh, well,
absolutely,
Bendy's not in the band anymore, but boom, there he is at the show. Cool. It's like awesome to see him.
Exactly.
And that's the kind of cool stuff that always made me smile when I played music, was to see another musician that wasn't even on the card in the show. I don't think anything's made me smile at a live show that much ever.
I love doing that. I love going to shows where I don't have to play and just hanging out, having a beer, and checking out my friends' bands.
Yeah, these guys are at work right now. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
these guys are at work right now, and I'm here. I'm here drinking a beer, chilling.
Yep. Oh my gosh, you guys got to load in and load out. Ha.
Have fun with your load in and load out. I'm gonna go have another beer.
Oh, I love it. And nothing against playing and loading in and loading out either, but that is one of the fun things. It's like the secret fun things as a musician, where it's like, oh, I get to show up and just enjoy music today. I don't even have to play it all. Like, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say that, I love playing shows. I like going to shows and playing.
I do too.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of joking around, but it is kind of fun to be able to go to shows and just be like, I don't have to do anything today. This is awesome.
Yeah. I'm here on my day off.
Yeah.
How did you get fired on your day off?
So how did you guys end up like leaning towards the alt rock or the rock slash grunge thing? Was it music you guys all grew up on? Was it hints of old bands that kind of just bled into this new band, or was it something you guys all sat down and were like, this is the sound we're going for? Or how did it all happen?
It wasn't really much discussion to it. We just decided, Lucas and I decided that we wanted to try doing like grunge. And I'm like, well, that's kind of my guitar style anyway. So like I'm really into old Soundgarden. There was a band called Tad that I really gravitated towards.
You say Cad?
Melvin's Tad. 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 They're an old Seattle band.
I'm looking it up after this.
Melvins.
Dude, Melvins are cool.
Jams.
I keep interrupting you. What was the band after what was the bands after Melvins? I keep interrupting you.
Pearl Jam, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. Oh, I feel like I didn't like the grunge music when I was younger growing up, and the older I get, the more I like it. And I don't know what the deal with that is, but like I found myself liking like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and things like that a lot more than.
Oh yeah, we're really into Alice in Chains. That's one of our main influences.
Dude, I think some of the thing that gets me with Alice in Chains is the vocals. You know, it's that the two singers that are in harmony, but it's almost not. Like it's crazy cool. I don't know how they're pulling it off.
Really eerie sounding. I love it.
Yeah, that's actually a really great way to say it. It's almost like melancholy, like eerie. Eerie is the perfect way to say it. It's great tunes, you know. And I mean, I'm sure
their lyrics are so dark.
Did you grow up listening to music like that? I mean, you're a few years older than me, so
I did. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. I started listening to music pretty heavily in like the late 90s and 2000s. So if I can go back about 6 years, it's probably about the mid 90s for you when you started really kind of digging in. So that would have been about the grunge era of stuff there. So
the band that actually made me want to pick up a guitar and play, like made me think I could pick up a guitar and play, was actually Green Day when Dookie came out.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's just power chords and a snotty ass attitude. I could do that.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, we'll try the bass parts on this. And it's like, oh, that's a little more difficult.
Yeah. Dirk is no joke.
Yeah. It's tons of fun to sit there and I've played bass sometimes at jam nights and stuff, and people will bust out weird songs like that too. Like we're going to play a Green Day song and it's like, ooh. This might, I'll play bass with this one, you know, and I can't do it justice, but it's still fun to go out there and do that kind of stuff. How did you start playing guitar? Let me ask you that.
Well, I'd always wanted to, and then for Christmas when I was 16, my family got me just a cheap ass Harmony electric, and I was given an old PV practice amp, and a buddy showed me a couple power chords, and I taught myself by ear. So.
Oh, cool. That's such a crazy parallel, because I got my first guitar from my parents when I was 16 and it was Christmas. So like, believe it or not,
nice.
It's like we're brothers. No.
What's weird is I've never wanted to be a lead guitar player. I always wanted to play rhythm. That's always been what I was more drawn to. Which works great because Lucas is kind of gravitating towards the lead side of things. I'm like, yes, I'll right into my plan.
Dude, I will have to say, though, there is something noble about being a rhythm guitarist. I really enjoy playing rhythm. I enjoy chugging around and making like counter rhythms to what might normally be going on. Plus, you can get a little bit of lead stuff going on in
I play a few solos in our stuff.
Yeah, and it's not like you're just power chord, power chord, power chord, power chord.
There's a lot of riffing.
Yeah, that's the coolest part about playing rhythm guitar, as far as I'm concerned, is like learning those little bits of riffs and stringing them together. And you're like, dude, this rhythm part's. I'm nothing against the lead guy, but I think this rhythm part's more fun to play. You know?
Yeah. What's crazy with our band is I can build like rhythm parts. When Lucas writes something, I'll usually wait till Alan comes with his bass part, and I'll build the rhythm guitar off of that.
Oh, nice.
Because Alan is so good at...
Oh, we're on hold. What happened?
Are you there?
I'm back.
Oh, had one of those damn robocalls call.
Oh, jeez. I've been getting a bunch of those the last few days.
So have I.
I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you said you usually wait for the bassist to come in and add his special sauce, and then you kind of season that up a little bit.
Yeah. Alan and I have a really good system going, so
that's good. I've loved doing that. When I joined Three Finger Betty, they already had songs like pre-constructed, and they were like, "Here's an open guitar part for you to do whatever you want with." And I myself also found myself leaning more towards what the bassist was doing. I feel like that, lends itself to the rhythm guitar more anyways. Yeah. The bass and the drummer are in each other's pocket. If you kind of like lean on the bassist a little bit, it's like, well, I'm kind of doing what the bass is doing, even though I'm shadowing what the other guitar is doing. But
what's crazy about this is Alan's first band.
Oh, really?
He's just like a fish to water.
That's crazy.
Natural.
I feel like there's a shortage of bassists, but I also feel like some bassists
especially good ones.
The good ones just sneak out. They're like, I'm here, and it's like, where have you been for the last 10 years? And it's like, I don't know, just hanging out.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about Alan. It's like, dude, where have you been all my life?
Oh man, I also feel like like you said though, being a good bassist, there's something to that, because like I can play bass, but like I'm not. I want to say I'm not a bassist though. I can play bass, but I'm not like insanely good.
Same here.
So when you get those good guys around, it's kind of nice to be like, God dang, this guy's got something special.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you started playing guitar when your parents got you a guitar. What was the first band you formed afterwards?
Oh man. It was like right after I graduated high school. Some friends and I formed kind of a punk band. We never had a singer or anything, and we just jammed in a basement. And I ended up playing bass in that band after a while. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I hooked up with a former classmate a couple years, like a year after that, and we started a band called Black Summer.
Okay.
And we went through several different lineup changes. And we played the first, and then we changed the name to Afterburn for a while. Played a show, band broke up, started Black Summer again. That band broke up, started Afterburn again. That band, and then that became Simple Design, and that lasted for a couple of years. But I played with the same drummer for like 11 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel like there's something to be said for that, too. If you can buddy up with a rhythm section, you guys can get so tight together that it's it's weird. I feel like there's a lot of parallels between your story and mine. I mean, I didn't do too much music after high school until like my late 20s, but the drummer I've been playing with in Three Finger Betty, I also went to school with, and we had a band together in high school. So I still have all of those practices together to get, weirdly tight with one another. And, I feel like that's something underestimated too, is the longevity of the relationships you have with somebody in music. The longer you play with them, the better you get. The more on the same page each one of you gets with each other's music. And
then when we formed another band after Simple Design broke up, and that introduced the vocalist, Seth, the vocalist who went on to form Ashes Armada, which we basically just changed the name of Painful Monday to Ashes Armada. And then after a while, Travis quit, and we got the bassist's little brother in on drums, and his best friend was a killer lead guitar player, and that's when Ashes Armada really took shape. So it was just all kind of boom, 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 boom.
God, it sounds like you've never
keep rolling.
Yeah, it sounds like these. I don't want to call them setbacks. I'm using air quotes, but I don't want to. It sounds like these setbacks weren't really much of setbacks to you at all.
No, they felt like setbacks at the time, but every time one happened, I came out better. So.
Oh man, that's such a hard thing to do, because I mean, especially now, like COVID and everything's rough for everyone this last year and stuff, and the setbacks might seem super huge, but it could just be an opportunity for something else that might be maybe better, or better for you or better for whoever's involved, and
Yeah.
It's tough trying new things, getting around new people, and like you said, we need to make a new band, and it's tough to bring new people into the fold, but like you also said, it can work out in your benefit sometimes. You find people that you're just like,
Yeah.
where were you this whole time? I could have used you in my other band,
Exactly. I don't know how many times I've said that.
Oh, go for it.
Actually, the whole COVID thing might have been a blessing in disguise, because we've written 6 really good songs this past year.
Good.
Some of the best stuff I've ever been involved in.
I'm so happy to hear that you guys weren't one of those bands that just kind of rolled over and played dead during all this.
We're all too stubborn for that.
And I also feel it with some bands. It's like, well, we can't get together. We're too far apart, or they're going to quarantine a little bit more than some other people are. So not every band has the opportunity to get together. Some bands have, people in different parts of the state and they can't meet up or whatever. So it is tough for bands to be making music these days, but it is awesome to hear that bands are doing it, because, that's no different than Three Finger Betty. I'm not, in charge of too much of the writing process, but John's written a bunch of songs during COVID, because why not? What else are you going to do when you're not playing shows?
Nice.
Did you guys even attempt to play any shows during COVID?
We played one show. We played in June at a place called Joysticks Rock Dock in Keokuk, and it was a really cool venue.
That was
It was like an arcade and pizza place, and then we played on an old loading dock that had been converted into a really cool stage.
That's awesome.
Other than that, no, we haven't done anything.
Yeah, like right around June.
It was actually Steve's first show with us.
You get one show in, then you got to wait another 9 months before you get another one in.
Right?
That was actually like right when the state opened all back up for the first time. It was like in June, because I remember that we played a show for that too, and we also played one that was like a private show in May, where we pretty much rented a building from a venue and didn't allow anybody in, but we played and live streamed it to everybody.
Nice.
And even that was weird, because that was when everything was locked down and the cops still came and shut it down, which I get it, but it's also like we were in a closed venue with 5 people in a giant building, so I don't know. But I get it, it was, you got to do what they're telling you to do, and we thought it would be all right, but apparently it wasn't, and we've tried to play shows here and there. We've played a couple, but it seems to be that a lot of the venues are fairly empty, and once again, justifiably so. It's not easy to get a booking right now. It's not easy to get paid right now. It's not easy to play right now, and the social atmosphere for it is not very good to try and play. But I do commend bands that are doing things, whether it be playing or writing new music. It's you're still doing the work,
Exactly.
Is it hard for you guys to write music during these times, or have you found more good content to write about, or are you just kind of winging it, or is this next album going to be all based on your time spent alone during COVID, or what's this new EP going to kind of lean towards?
You have to ask Jeff about that. Actually, he's the main lyricist. I have a nonstop flow of riffs. I've got recording software on my computer, and I can just plug in, and on a good day, I can come up with skeletons for 3 songs. So
nice.
And I've got an archive of 10 years worth of that. So,
dude, that's legit. I just started doing something like that at my house, and it's like you said, I'm not good at putting songs together, and I don't know why. Most of the stuff I put together, I don't like it, and I don't know why, but it's just what. And other people are like, "Yeah, it's good," but I don't know. Maybe it's my personal preference. But I just started I got a recording thingy here. I plug it in, and I just plug my guitar in, and it's you can just record riffs for days with this recording software and just chop it up any way you want, and slam it together, and wham, you've got a song. And like I said, I'm pretty hard on myself when it comes to songwriting, but I just started doing that, and it's so beneficial to writing music to be able to be oh, this riff I had 3 weeks ago was killer, and then you just pull it back up and that's how it goes, instead of trying to pull it out of your mind, and be how did that go? It goes something like this, maybe.
Yeah, I just come up with something and I'll send a rough draft to the band chat on Messenger, and then I'll send it to guys' emails, and then they come up with their parts. And then a lot of times we'll sit at practice, is like, yeah, it was cool on the demo, but why don't we try putting this here? Go this many times. Jeff's really good at that.
That's awesome.
Jeff's really good at structuring stuff. So
structure is probably the thing I struggle the most with when it comes to writing music. You know, like you said, I can write riffs, but I can't put them together. I don't know what the deal is. So I probably need to like slightly buddy up with somebody or have somebody help me out. But it's so cool to know that like it's not like you're writing all the music and like, here, it's completely done, somebody write lyrics.
No,
and
it's not like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in bands like that, and I'm okay with that because it kind of lowers the workload for other people. But it's also a little less fun when somebody's like, I wrote this, you have to play it exactly like this and no variations at all.
I didn't write that note for you.
Yeah. It's tough. And I also get it, though. If you're going to write music completely and fully on your own, you probably want everyone else to perform it the way you wrote it instead of changing it up. But it's so beneficial to be malleable when you come to a band setting and be like, hey, I wrote this, but what do you guys think of it? Should we do this? Put your spin on it here? Should we change something? You know, it's not always easy. Plus, like, I mean, you got to commend you guys personally for that, to be open-minded enough, all of you, to take in the criticism from one another without making it seem like, oh, this guy hates me now because he didn't like the riff, you know?
Ain't like that at all. It's just, that's how we write.
Yeah. I mean, and it's nothing against other bands. Like I said, I'm sure every band is a little bit different, but it really does help to have, like, even within your own band, that support to know that everyone's on each other's side, you know? And
absolutely.
Gosh, and I'm like I said, I'm going to try my best to just keep it as positive as possible, but it's not always that case when you're in bands. I'm sure you've seen that in your history with other bands. Don't call anybody out, but
I won't.
You know, but it happens.
I've been there and done that.
Yeah. I mean, I could see if I ever wanted to lead a band, me having issues with that, you know, like, and that's one reason I don't want to start a band, because I don't want to be the guy that's like, no, we got to do it this way, and this is the only way to do it. So I'm pretty cool at tagging along and adding my spice to somebody's already made recipe, you know.
Exactly.
So we've given everybody in the band a shout out. We discussed how the band formed. We've got the new album, or the new EP rather, coming out this year, 2020. Do you have a date set for
2021.
it? 2021.
Yeah, it's 2021.
Yeah, my bad.
It's cool. It's cool.
I'm just.
I can't blame you for it. You know,
I'm over here.
Everything is just kind of run together,
dude. Yeah, I actually posted last year on the Audible
Day that ends in Y. I always say that.
I posted something on the podcast, as in, like, last year on the podcast this happened, and I posted it, and it was from 2019 and not 2020. So I've been doing it a lot lately, where the 2021 switchover has ruined me for this. But 2021.
We don't have a release date yet. We're not gonna put a deadline on it. We want to go in the studio and make sure it's right.
Mm-hmm.
And,
you know, there's something to be said about that too. If you set a release date, you might have to rush the album to get finished.
Yeah, we don't want to rush anything.
The other end of that is
songs are so good. We want them to come out on the recording as good as we hear them. So
yeah, 100%. Plus, the other end of that is, like, let's say you set a release date and COVID's still happening, and now you can't play a show to support it. You know. And I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't think anybody really does. But it's one of those things, like, if you set the release date for June and COVID ends in August, you could have very well waited 2 months and released it at a show or something like that instead. So
exactly.
Oh, man. That's got
uncertain times.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that's tough, because I feel that hurt. The Betty album was done in, like, April or June. And we were just waiting on physical copies, and it's like, what do we do with this? And we sent it out to radio stations, because it was like, well, we'll let the radio stations play it, but, you know, what else are we going to do with this thing? We don't know when we're going to release it or when we'll have time to. And eventually we just said, just pull the trigger, and we picked a date, and it was actually Election Day, which kind of coincided with the album pretty well. Looks like we got cut off because of another robocall. You're back again.
Yeah, another robocall.
That's all good. But it's, it's so tough to figure out what you're going to do or to make plans during, like you said, these uncertain times. And, but the benefit is you guys are still out there writing music, doing stuff, and you have a plan. It's just a malleable plan. It's one that can change.
Exactly. It's kind of a bummer with Pyrokinesis for Beginners. We released it right at the end of 2019, and then shit hit the fan.
Yeah, you got like 3 months tops.
We didn't really get to go out and support it, but we played all those songs live leading up to it for like a year. So
yeah, and that's kind of what Three Finger Betty did. If you went and saw us live, you've probably heard the songs before and stuff. But but at the same rate, if you haven't, you can go check it out online. Speaking of which, if anybody wants to go check out All Guts No Glory, you guys do have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You're on YouTube. You're on every streaming site. You're out there.
Exactly.
If anybody's looking for that, I will put links in the description down below. So if anybody says, I got to follow these guys, I want to check out their music, that 90s and 2000s grunge and rock and alt rock is like my favorite music, just scroll down and click the link. You won't be disappointed. I also have to say, like, I come from a small town. There's not too many people left here my age, and I've buddied up with a lot of people who are like your age, about 5 years plus older than me, and this is like their favorite kinds of music, is this kind of music. I also feel like
I've had a lot of like my old classmates tell me that they love this. So
yeah,
we're doing something right.
Exactly. I feel like anybody that like we talked about, probably would have graduated around 2000 or in the 90s somewhere. You'll probably love this music, and
I graduated 2000.
So there we go. I feel like you guys, this is right in your wheelhouse.
That's on the camera.
Holy cow, that scared me when I looked over. I just saw the huge eyes. Oh
yeah. If
you're not watching the video version of this, you missed out big. Exactly. Oh my gosh. No, I feel like your guys' generation is also the generation now that it's coming into what I would call like the spending and buying power. You guys are now the people that are making more money, I want to say going to bars, but you're going to shows, you're going and enjoying live music and going out to these live things. So I bet you guys are seeing a lot of, benefits from that, being the popular music for the people in the age group that are out there spending money and going to these shows.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, it's weird because it seems like you end up dragging people in that like your music, and then there's always like some stragglers that are younger that are just supporting music because they like live music, and it's always this weird assortment of people. But do you seem to notice that you are dragging in a lot of people around your age group, or is it?
Yes, absolutely.
Or
actually a little older.
Oh, really? Really? That's nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of that is just the music style? Like you guys are making music that speaks to these people's preferences,
Yeah, actually, when we released our first single, I'm friends with, I don't know if you know who Joe Franz is. He's the guy that shot all the CKY movies, and he was the filmographer.
Okay.
But I sent him the link, and he wrote me back instantly. He's like, this is awesome. This is like straight out of 1992. I love this.
That's cool. And
I'm like, whoa.
Sorry for the coughing there, but
he's the guy that did all the cool montages on the CKY videos and on Viva La Bam and all that. So, and he directed all the band CKY's videos.
Sweet. I wrote it down. I'm gonna have to check it out. That's another one of my fun things about doing the podcast is talking with people and realizing there's still so much music and things out there that I don't know. And like I wrote down Tad, and I'm gonna listen to that.
Tad's awesome.
I'm gonna listen to that.
Like heavy, grungy, dirty rock. You'll really dig them.
I'm gonna check it out. Definitely gonna check it out. And it's so fun to hear that, like we talked earlier, the music scene in Iowa is big, but it's also very small. It's one of those things where even though you and I have never talked to each other, I didn't know that you had ties to both Jeremy Bendy and Jonathan Rowell, who I've interacted with in my past before. It's like once again, small music scene. It's big, but it's small. I think we've got 50 plus minutes in here. Is there anything else you want to add to this podcast? I feel like we've covered a decent amount of stuff, but I'm always open to to new topics. If there's any hot button issues you wanna get out.
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything.
So let's give it all a shout out one more time. Ryan Craig, All Guts No Glory, your band based out of the Ottumwa-ish area, which is an oddly magical hotspot for music. I don't know. We talked about it at the beginning, but it's something down there. You guys are doing
I've
something
noticed
right.
You've done quite a few interviews with Ottumwa people, so
I love it down there, man. I don't think I've seen a band I disliked from Ottumwa. So hats off to every band in Ottumwa.
We've got Hollow Tree, we've got Good Devils, we've got All Guts No Glory. There's Uncle. There's all these good bands are here.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Uncle. That was another one I interviewed them a little over a year ago. I hope they're still making music. I haven't seen too much of their stuff.
I think they are actually.
Good. Yeah, I knew COVID was one of the things that kind of hit them pretty hard as far as like not being able to play shows. Obviously, it hit us all, but I hope they're cranking out new music too. And speaking of cranking out new music, Ryan, you guys got a new EP coming out in All Guts No Glory. Do you have a title for it, or are you still kind of
not yet?
All right.
Not yet.
So if you guys are looking
still early on,
if you guys are looking for info on that, follow them on social media. All the links are down below.
We're gonna start doing like a few skits, I think, on our YouTube. Some funny
nice
stuff.
The link for the YouTube will be down below as well. So scroll down there and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah, I've been trying to support as many YouTube channels as possible.
Do it now.
Do it now. Get to the chopper. Get to the YouTube channel.
Come on, kill me. Do it. Do it now.
Oh, it's a perfect way to end this one. Ryan, All Guts No Glory. I dig what you guys are doing. Keep doing it. I'm excited to hear the new EP. Thank you for joining me. Don't go away. I'm going to end the recording, but I'll chat with you after the podcast. Thanks, man.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, baby. What a fun time sitting down talking with Ryan Craig. Once again, his band is All Guts No Glory. Scroll down. Check out the links down below. You can find the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, and the YouTube link. They're also available on every streaming service you can imagine, so check that out. They got the new EP coming out, so follow them on social media if you want to hear more information about that. I'm pretty stoked for it. I'm excited that bands are still making music out there, and even though there's not very many places to play and not very many shows to be had in the last, almost a year now, there's still bands making music, so check them out. This is All Guts No Glory. All their links are down below. Hats off to you, Ryan, for sitting down and taking some time out of your day to chat with me. Appreciate it, man. Oh man, if you guys are also looking for more stuff to click on, there's Audible Farm links down below. We mentioned it in the audio version. There's some fun stuff going on in the video versions every now and then. So if you guys are interested in that, check out the Audible Farm Patreon page. It just costs $1 a month, and you can get all of the Audible Farm video versions. Like I said, $1 a month, that usually equates to 4 video versions a month, so they cost a quarter a piece, I guess, if anybody's doing the math on that. So if it's something that interests you, check it out. Otherwise, you can watch little snippets and clips on the Audible Farm YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Audible Farm. Don't forget to subscribe. We're getting really close to 200 subscribers there. And speaking of milestones, we just cleared 1,000 likes on Facebook. So that's really awesome. I really appreciate that, everybody, for doing, inviting people to like the page and sharing all the posts and liking and commenting and everything. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. It's been just over 2 years I've been doing the podcast, and we transformed the page from just being some YouTube stuff here and there to doing a whole full-end podcast, and starting at episode 0. And now we're on episode 124, this is. So I got to give my hats off to Ryan Craig one more time for sitting down with me, taking some time out of his day. That's actually pretty important to me. The fact that there are people that are willing to take time out of their day to promote the things that they work on in the rest of their free time during their day. And I understand that not everybody has free time, and I guess I'm, not any different. I don't always have free time, even though I do have a decent amount of free time these days. If you guys have people that you think might be interested in doing a podcast, have them hit me up. I also understand it, like I said, people's lives get busy. So if you've hit me up before and one of us got busy, don't worry. We'll get a podcast done soon enough. So I've been reaching back out to some people that I had overlooked, or people that had failed to get back in touch with me, and we're getting some podcasts done and getting some scheduled up. So it's pretty fun. I really got to say I appreciate everybody being, willing to do the podcast and being friendly back to me if I was the one that forgot to get back in touch with you. So thank you guys very much for doing that. Check out the Audible Farm shop if you're looking for extra Audible Farm stuff. If you really want to have that Audible Farm merch, we've got t-shirts and hoodies there. There's also stickers available, but I guess if you run into me in person, you may be lucky enough to get a sticker. I don't know. I usually have a couple stickers on me, but if you guys are looking for a pack of stickers, go over to the Audible Farm shop. There are now 4 packs of stickers, and those 4 packs are 25% off. So it makes them a little bit more affordable. We can get some stickers on your phones or wherever you guys like to stick stickers these days. That is pretty much it for the episode this week. I do think I should mention that Three Finger Betty did have an album come out. I've kind of talked about it a little bit in the podcast here and there with some of my guests, but we did have an EP come out in November of 2020. It is now January of 2021, and we've had a lot of people supporting the album, buying digital versions, buying vinyl versions, buying CDs, buying t-shirts. It's wild. Thank you everybody for supporting us. If you're looking for any of that merch, that is at threefingerbetty.bandcamp.com. There's no link to it down below, but I guess you can go to @threefingerbetty on any social media platform and check that out. And I guess for those that don't know, I do play guitar in a band called Three Finger Betty, so I do talk about it a little bit here and there in the podcast, but I try to keep it to a little bit of a minimum. Because it's a guest-driven podcast for the most part. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out. It's rock, it's punk, there's solos, there's great drumming, there's a lot of stuff going on. So check it out. It's a cool album. We worked pretty hard on it, and like I said, it's been received pretty well by radio stations and fans and people I know, people I don't know. We've been shipping vinyls out across the U.S. actually, so and it's pretty wild. Thank you guys if you've purchased it. If you haven't purchased it and you want a copy and you know me personally, I guess hit me up. If we live close by, I'll deliver one. Otherwise, Bandcamp is the place to go if you don't want to wait. I was given a handful of vinyls to distribute around my friends, and I've only got, I think, 2 left. So if you wanted to meet up with me and you told me to save a vinyl for you, I may or may not have one available for you when you hit me up. So if I don't, it's at the Bandcamp page. Otherwise, get at me for some of that vinyl goodness. One more time, shout out to Ryan Craig. All guts, no glory. All the links are down below. Check it out. I really appreciate everybody taking time out of their day to listen to the podcast, to be on the podcast, and support the podcast. It just makes me smile so much. So thank you guys very much. I'll check everybody out next week. There'll be another great guest, and it's going to be another awesome podcast. So we'll check you out later. Peace.